Greetings, paper demons. Today I'm going to talk about miracle morning, what that is, and how I do my miracle mornings, while showing you some time-lapse footage of a recent artwork I did of my character, my original character, with his water weapon. This was done as a crafting challenge for the PaperDemon art RPG. So I was crafting a weapon, so I had to draw my character with his weapon. Okay, so what is Miracle Morning? Miracle Morning is a concept that comes from Hal Elrod. He wrote a book called Miracle Morning. And I came across this idea and this book after I was really into bullet journaling many years ago. I still bullet journal, but not to the same degree as I used to. That's a whole another topic I should do in a separate video, but so somewhere around 2017, I got into bullet journaling and Miracle Morning. I think I kind of got into it because that was around the time that I was starting to get really serious about PaperDemon as a business. And part of that, of becoming an entrepreneur, is self-mastery. As a person with ADHD, I struggle with, have a lifelong history of struggling with consistency. And so, actually, this YouTube channel is a testament to how inconsistent I can be. But consistently working at a business was something that I was concerned about when I started off my business. I was concerned that, hey, I really want to do this thing, but I might only be excited about doing it for 1 month and then taper off and not actually consistently work at it. So before I decided to officially register the business, I decided, okay, let's see if I can stick with this for 3 months. And so part of that was just trying to build up some good habits. A lot of the books that I had read and videos I had watched about entrepreneurship talk about self-mastery, meditation, and taking good care of yourself and your body and your mind so that you can be the best person that you can be for your business. That's how I kind of came across Miracle Morning, just kind of through bullet journaling. I had seen other videos of people who do bullet journaling talking about Miracle Morning and blogging about it, and I was like, what is this thing? This sounds interesting. So I looked it up. It's actually a really useful thing for people who struggle with mental illness, because actually in the premise of the book, the author, Hal Elrod, talked about how he went through a pretty serious depression and didn't really have the support that he needed when he went through that. Miracle Morning is something he kind of came up with as a self-care routine to help him get out of it. And the basic premise is there are 6 things that you do each morning. Each of these things you do for 10 minutes each, and you start off your day with these 6 things before you do anything else. And so the 6 things spell out the acronym SAVERS. So the first one is S for silence. So this is like meditation or prayer. If you're a spiritual person, you want to pray or whatever. For me, it's meditation. A is for affirmations. So reading to yourself positive affirmations to kind of reset your mind in a more positive space. V for visualizations, so imagining yourself achieving your goals, that kind of thing. E for exercise. R for reading. Now, not reading like fan fiction or something. This is like reading to better yourself, like something that's like self-improvement oriented. And finally, S for scribing, so like self-reflection, journaling, or that kind of thing. And so you're supposed to spend like 10 minutes each on each of these things, so it totals up to an hour. I read the Miracle Morning book. You don't actually have to read it to get the concept. There's plenty of resources online that explain the concept. I mean, I just described it to you, so that might actually be enough for you. I did find the book very interesting and helpful for me because he kind of dives deep into what these different things can mean, but you can find plenty of resources online for it. And I've been doing this kind of on and off for the last several years since I first came across it. I think it was somewhere around 2017. I don't remember exactly when. When I go through periods of really rough, mental wellness, I start to reboot it. And I'm kind of going through that right now. As I talked about in my last video, I have postpartum depression and anxiety. I'm doing much better. I'm going through treatment, and I am trying to restart my morning routine. It's been really hard for me to do a morning routine for the last 7 months because of my morning routine has mostly been like feed the baby, change the baby, do all those things. And so it hasn't been easy to spend time for myself, but now my son is getting a little bit easier at like entertaining himself for a little bit, so I can have some time to take care of myself in the mornings. Also, during my pregnancy, I fell out of my routines as well. Early in my pregnancy, I was extremely tired. It's a very common symptom, which I didn't know about until I was pregnant. That first trimester, you just become really tired and you just want to sleep all day. So I really fell out of my routines during the pregnancy, and then later in the pregnancy, I just became too big and in too much pain to really do exercise other than walk. I couldn't do my yoga anymore. Most of the yoga poses that I tried to do were just not feasible for the condition I was in, or they were painful or whatever. So I have recently, over the last few weeks, started redoing my Miracle Morning again. For me, I find personally doing all 6 things in 1 hour does not work for me, because I have a hard time with transitions, particularly when I'm doing yoga. Usually my exercise is yoga. I do it for more than 10 minutes. When I get into it, I'm like, okay, I want to do this for like 15 or 20 minutes. So it's difficult for me to cap it at just 10. And same thing with reading. I'll get into reading and I'll want to go much longer than 10 minutes. And I can't really spend 2 hours on a morning routine. That's too much for me. So what I kind of do is I have like 3 things that I tend to do most mornings, and I kind of see Miracle Morning as a menu. Like, okay, pick 3 things. And I may not do them every morning, I might do them every other morning. But most of the time what I try to do is exercise at least every other day if I can. And meditation I try to do every day. I'm not very good at doing it every day, but I try. I try to do it. Meditation for me, I have been using the Headspace app for a really long time, for many years. I really like that app. I've gotten to the point now though where I don't really need a guided meditation. I've done it for so long that I can just kind of do it on my own. But I really like the different packs that they have in there. They've got different ones specifically for stress and anxiety and that kind of stuff. They even have one for pregnancy, which was great. I went through that one when I was pregnant. For affirmations, I have a pretty massive Pinterest board with a lot of affirmations that I collect all the time. If you're on my newsletter, you see that I put a affirmation or some sort of positive quote at the top of every newsletter. And I always pull up my board of things that I've already collected, and I just go in there and I pick something for the newsletter. But so what I do is I just like, not as part of my Miracle Morning necessarily, but at some point during the day, I might spend some time on Pinterest looking at affirmations and collecting them. And the ones that I feel like are really specific to something I need to work on right now, I will write down on a Post-it note and put them on my mirror. So in the morning when I get up, I see the affirmation, I read it. I also have them on my door to the bathroom, which is, a place where you spend some time during the day. So you're kind of like seeing it at eye level when you're sitting on the toilet, you read your affirmations. It's kind of like a good place to put them. I also have some on my monitor. One that I'm working on right now, it's kind of a long one. I can read it to you, but it says, I'm committed to maintaining unwavering faith that PaperDemon will be profitable and put forth extraordinary effort until I do. No matter what, there is no other option. And this affirmation actually comes from Hal Elrod's, one of his more recent books, The Miracle Equation. I just recently came across a video where he was talking about this book. I didn't even know this was out. It's been out for several years, but I didn't know it was there. I didn't know that was a thing. And he happens to be covering a topic that is very relevant to me right now, which is There are certain things about running the PaperDemon business that I've had some roadblocks on, particularly with marketing. So I have fears that have been like kind of standing in my way with creating marketing content, for example, YouTube videos. So this affirmation is kind of helping me to get past some of those fears. For visualization, when I first was doing Miracle Morning, for the first maybe 6 months I was doing it, I was doing visualization, but I found that I think it can be helpful in the early stage of a business. I think for myself right now, I kind of stopped doing it because I'd get a little too hyped up because I'm such a creative person. I had so many ideas. I already have a ton of ideas that I don't have the time to execute on. I don't really need more ideas. I already have a plan over the next year of what things I'm going to work on. And visualization just really gets my creative brain going and coming up with too many ideas. And I have an abundance of ideas. I don't really need more right now. So I don't do that one that often. I may need to reflect and see if there's some other way that it can still be helpful to me, because I think if I was having a day where I didn't feel like working, this could be one where it, can kind of amp me up and get me motivated. I already talked about exercise. Reading, I tend to read more self-help and business-related books than I do fiction. But yeah, like I said, right now I'm reading Hal Elrod's Miracle Equation, so that's the book I'm kind of poking through at the moment for my Miracle Morning reading. Scribing, I talked about in my previous video how I tend to really like workbooks. So I have a postpartum depression workbook that I'm going through right now. When my mental health is really bad, I will prioritize scribing as something I'll do in the morning, and I'll often spend 20 minutes on it at least. When I had a really severe bout of OCD a couple years back, I actually dedicated an hour every morning to it because I was in such rough shape that I really needed to spend a whole hour going through a OCD workbook. I'm not in that bad of shape right now, but a month ago I was in rougher shape, and I was spending every morning 20 minutes going through the postpartum workbook. I also will turn to journaling when I have a particularly rough day where I am upset about something and can't let it go. Journaling is a way to kind of put it on the page and help my brain kind of move past it. It's not something I typically do in the mornings now. It's like I said, if I'm going through a rough mental health period, then I prioritize it for the mornings. But when, my mental health is a lot more steady, my mood is a lot more stable and more upbeat and positive, then it's kind of a thing that I just do as needed. So mainly right now, my miracle mornings are focused on meditation, affirmation, exercise, and reading. Those 4 things. And I don't do all 4 in one day. I kind of rotate them out. And then the other things are kind of as needed. Another thing I wanted to mention that has helped me over the last few weeks with my morning routine is I'm using this app called Amaru. We're doing a partnership with them, actually, if you saw one of our recent live streams. But it's a really cool self-care app. It's basically a virtual pet where when you take care of yourself, it takes care of your pet. So I have in there, I can say what my self-care goals are. You can set 3 self-care goals. Interesting how it's 3, which is kind of how I said 6 was too much for me. 3 is more reasonable. I have in there creative, spend 30 minutes doing something creative, do a guided meditation, and then I already forgot what the 3rd thing was. Oh yeah, it's exercise. So yeah, exercise and meditation were 2 of my miracle morning things anyway. So Amaru is helping me do my things, although I do have a streak, a 5-day streak, but today I did not do all the things. So I need to go do them. This isn't a paid promotion or anything for Amaru. I just think it's a cool app, and we're doing some collaborations with them, so I figured I'd mention it. Anyway, so I hope you found this video interesting or useful or something. Let me know in the comments what your morning routine is or what your self-care routine is. How do you make sure that you make time for your self-care routines? So let me know in the comments how you maintain your self-care. Also, if you are an artist and you are looking to get motivated with your art, check out the PaperDemon art role-playing game. It is a free art game where you earn rewards for drawing your original character in different scenarios. We have different quests and campaigns with scenarios that your character can engage with, as well as boss fights where you can combine your OC's powers with other OC's powers. And of course, by OC, I mean original character, in case you don't know the lingo. Anyway, check it out. Links for that are in the description below. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Don't forget to click the like button. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. Click all the things. All right. Okay, bye.